What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Wilson's April Adventures. Again, I apologize for being so scarce. Life has been so insane. My wife and I were pretty sick. We had COVID, but we're back now. We're all good. And my son also was a bit sick. I think he had it too, but nonetheless, we're all fine now. We're all back to normal, so we're back to the grind. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how we actually wire our frames. It's pretty much old school, nothing too crazy. There's no pulley or mechanism that we use. We just use hand, hammer, and nails. And that's pretty much it. I'm actually going to be using my grandpa's new frames that he made for us with the 4 boxes that he's made so far. I'm going to be rewiring these because they haven't got any wires in and they weren't drilled either. The pilot holes weren't drilled in the sidebars. So I did that already. But now I'm going to be going ahead and wiring these suckers so that they can be ready for next season and for when I want to switch out that other 5-frame Nook box into one of these guys. Let's check it out. Right, so these are the boxes that my grandfather had made. He made them very well. He made them I'm really impressed with them. Some minor alterations that we will do on them, but other than that, the box is of outstanding quality. He really did the frames nicely. Can't get the whole thing in there too well, but basically that's what he had made. And none of these holes were actually drilled in, so I had to re-drill all these holes. It was such a quick job. The wood is so soft, so it made it a very quick and easy job to do. But I've done all the holes. Now I'm going to be rewiring these 4 boxes. These boxes are actually a bit bigger than normal. I can actually fit between 10 to 11 frames in here snugly. I mean, you can see here, this is like, this can still shift up a bit more there. So I mean, you can still fit in easily 2 more frames in there. That's an 11 frame box. So that's a very big brood. Definitely homemade. Not your ordinary Landstroth that you buy, but definitely sturdy enough to have a good size colony built inside there. So let's go ahead and check these suckers out and let's get them wired. So generally, as you know, what we need to do in order to wire the frames is, first of all, you obviously need the frame. No frame, no wiring. And then the second thing you need is obviously a hammer. You can't knock any nails in without that sucker. Use this to crimp the wire to make it cut and make it much easier to work with. And then obviously I've got the wire here that I'm using. There it is there. I can't recall the gauge of this wire, but I know it's not the thick gauge. I don't want to lie and say it's a 2 gauge, number 2. But I know it's the thinner one. It's not the fine one, but it's one a bit bigger than the fine one, and it's much better than your thick one because the thick gauge is really difficult to work with and it's very hard to pull. So it makes it very difficult to tighten and tension that wire when it's on the frame. So generally your medium and your very thin is generally your ideal ones to use. So let's check how we get these suckers in. Alright, so let's get this going. So first and foremost, you need your wire. So it's good to have the frame in front of you that you're going to work with. This way you know you can do your measurements and not waste too much wire. So I like to always leave a bit of play on either sides. This allows me to always have enough. You don't want to get through the whole frame and then you realize you're short, and that's not nice because then you basically have to redo the whole thing, and yeah, that sucks. I have to do this 4 times because there's going to be 4 strands in here. 3, 4. Alright, like I said, I am doing it longer than normal. I just don't want to be short, and I don't mind wasting a little bit. You do get a lot of wire, so it does go quite a long way. To make it easier, I just tend to stick that other piece back on the other end, and this tends to alleviate it from unraveling on its own, because it can and it does. Alright, there we go. So I got my wire now. This should be enough length for all of this. I also forgot to mention panel pins. You need the panel pins. So this is what allows you to keep your wire taut inside the actual bar. You just need 2 per time. So I like to prime it just to make sure that it has its, thing, its wire there. So I'm going to start on this side. Alright, we're not going to get it all the way through because we still have to tighten the wire around there, and then we're going to smack it in so that way the wire gets held very tightly inside. So let's go ahead and do this. When you start, don't forget, you always need to go from the inside Otherwise, it's just going to make it harder for yourself when you try and do it from the outside, because then you have to thread all that wire through just to tighten it around the nail, which won't be ideal. Alright, so there's my excess. So as you can see now, I'm tightening it around the nail. Not too many times, just 3 or 4 rings is enough. And you're going to keep that tension on there. There we go. So there's your tensioner. You cut that sucker off, and you just tap it. Make it flat, and now you've got your first strand. So that's basically how we're going to do it. So let's get to it then. So there we go. There's your frames wiring almost done. So I'm gonna just knock this sucker in too, so that's done. And I'll knock it over here. Okay, a little bit too much, but it's okay. Alright, that's still nice and taut. Let's put it in here. One, 2, 3. That's good enough. There we go. And there you have your frame, perfectly wired. So you can see here now, it's tight but not completely tight. And this is where your tightening tool comes in handy, where you now grip the wire and you run it along, and it actually crimps the wire, and this causes it to naturally tighten on its own. So there's no need to make this exceptionally tight on the initial creation. You can make it tighter with a tightening tool, which makes it life so much easier. But that's how we do it. That's how we tighten that's how we put the wire into the frames. It's pretty simple, nothing too crazy. I think it's a much more affordable way. It does take time, yes, but it needs to get done other ways. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Pretty much it. Nothing too crazy about rewiring frames. I'm not going to show you me doing all of them. That's going to be way too boring. But I just thought I'd show you how we do it, and it's pretty basic. There's really nothing too crazy to it. And just to recap, there's the frame with the wires in, and it's just one long piece. And this way it can be done nice and simply. You're not going back and forth with hammering different nails in on each side every time. And yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for checking it out. I really appreciate the guys that have joined and followed us along, and definitely more content on the way now that we're all better and son's back at school. Life gets a little bit more free now with regards to being able to do things. So really looking forward to sharing what's happening and what's behind the works. A lot of happening with the company, so we're really looking forward to expanding and all of this stuff. But as again, thanks so much for subscribing, guys. Really appreciate it. Be sure to like the video. We'd love to have you along our journey, and I hope you guys found this video helpful and insightful. So see you on the next time. Let's keep buzzing.